Hey everybody, this is Kane Severance. It's been a little while, so we had to take a break because we want to make a custom party member, and that was unfortunately broken by the first hot patch that they did. Um, it's been Alcat's been pretty great about rapidly putting out fixes to the game. Unfortunately, that first patch did make custom characters unavailable, but I believe that's fixed now. So let's hop right in. Oh, let's unpause it first. So again, last time we talked about our need for a bard, and just to really quickly talk about that, if we look at our party, we've got basically a party full of frontliners. The main character Kane is a Kinsai, and he's primarily, despite being a spellcaster, primarily on the front line. We've got Valerie, who's right now a fighter. We've talked a little bit about maybe making her a little more versatile later on, but she's always going to be on the front line. Same with Mary. Jathal's an Inquisitor. I haven't quite decided if I'm just going to stick with Inquisitor with her or not, but either way, she's another frontliner. She's got good strength. We're going to keep her up there. So with all this martial prowess going on, a bard would be invaluable. A bard's inspire courage gives a flat +1 to hit and damage to all martial characters. It is a competence bonus, so it won't stack with other things that provide competence bonuses, like the barbarian's lethal stance, for example. So that's just something to keep in mind. Anyway, let's hop into this. I need loyal and experienced fighters. I have friends like that. Just decide exactly who you need. I agree. Okay. So this lovely cleric gnome portrait was created by Sergey Gursky. I apologize if I pronounced that wrong. But he has given me permission to use his artwork for my custom character, which this is his Annabelle, which is a very nice portrait, and I think kind of goes well with what I'm going to do with this bard. So I have a link to the artist's page in the video description. Please go check him out. Alright, so I'm just going to try to match the face a little bit. Nothing quite exactly right, but this is fairly close. And we're going to go with human. We're going to want the extra feet and the skills. You could go... ASMR is always a strong option. You get the extra ability point. If you go ASMR, I would recommend the heritage that provides dexterity and charisma, because that gives the most synergy with Bard, at least with the Bard build that we're doing. So anyway, we lost our settings. So that, no, she's not super pale. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna jump in on Bard. Now real quick about Bard and the archetypes. So the Bard's a very good class. It's very versatile. You get lots of skills. You get lots of things to boost your allies. Inspire courage for the combat bonuses. Inspire competence gives you a +2 bonus on all skill checks, which is actually really good. You just get a lot in this package. And there are a couple good archetype options as well. So Archaeologist is actually a very strong Bard archetype. It doesn't really work for us because their Inspire Courage becomes Archaeologist Luck, which does about the same thing, except it only benefits the archaeologist. It does not benefit the party members. So if you're running, say, a party full of casters and maybe one frontliner as a tank, and the bard, and using this as your primary skill class, then the archaeologist is an excellent choice, because your casters aren't going to get anything out of Inspire Courage. You can buff yourself, and you get all kind of nice abilities to improve your trickery and things like that. So it's a strong class. It's just not what we want. What we're actually going to do is the Thundercaller. The Flame Dancer, I don't think is particularly worth it. You get fire resistance as a performance, which is situationally useful, but yeah, you're not going to be using it that often. And you add some fire spells to your spell list, so maybe if you're running a thematic fire party, or you want to be able to drop fireballs on your front line, then you might want to use this. But personally, I don't think you get enough out of the package. Thundercaller, however, is very nice. So right off the bat, you can see we lose our Inspire Competence, which is a loss, but I think what we get out of the deal is worthwhile. Also, your ability to your bardic knowledge to all knowledge and lore checks gets changed to Bound to the Land, which is a bonus only to lore nature checks, which is a little bit of a loss, but actually I don't think we're going to be investing in any of those skills. We'll get to that later. But here's the interesting thing you get with this class, this Thundercall ability. It's a 10-foot AoE that does sonic damage and stuns anyone in the area of effect. And it's a performance, but you can use it every round, and that's actually incredible. That gives your bard something really offensive to do all the time. If you can stun people, they're not taking any actions. It's a really good ability. Also, later on, you get the Storm Call, which drops lightning down while you're performing, and then Greater Storm Call, which does the same thing but with more damage. And the interesting thing about these works similar to Call Lightning, the Druid spells, in that if you use them in stormy weather, they do a lot more damage. So now the thing about Thundercall is, because it's a performance, and you can only have one performance going at a time, you can kind of see the conflict. Well, if we really want to Inspire Courage so much, why would we be using Thundercall? Well, there's a way around that, and I'll get into that in a little bit when we get to Feats. So let's start off picking a color palette that kind of matches her portrait. That looks pretty good, and we'll move on. Okay, so the main abilities, as I mentioned, are Charisma and Dexterity. I would actually like a little more Charisma to boost the saves, the save DCs for that, for our Thunder abilities. Unfortunately, we're just a little tight on ability points. As you can see, your companions only get 20 points to purchase stats with. Your main character starts with 25. Most of your companions are somewhere in between. So what can we do here? We can drop Wisdom down a little bit, and if we did that, we could get Dexterity up to 17. I want to have one of these stats to be an odd number. You've got 20 levels in this game, and according to developers, this game will take you all the way up to level 20. So over the course of 20 levels, you get 5 ability stat increases, and if you start with all even levels, you'll end up with an odd increase, which won't benefit you at all. It's a relatively minor concern, but you just hate to see that go to waste when you're at level 20 and you've got one stat that's just inches away from giving you a benefit. So we could go with Dexterity or Charisma here. I've been a little bit torn on this because while she will be using her Charisma more often, we also want her to be effective if she's close within melee, plus this affects her armor class. That said, I think I am going to go with Charisma as her main stat and Dexterity as her secondary. We'll get magic items to boost her Dexterity later on in the game. So, as for skill points, we're primarily using her for our rogue in the party right now. We don't have a rogue, so we need someone who can disable traps. Use magic device is always useful. Mobility will let her eventually avoid attacks of opportunity as she's moving around. Perception is good on everybody. I think each character gets a role to find hidden things, so even though she doesn't have a great bonus in it, we're going to keep boosting that. I'd like to have a point to put into stealth. I think that there's some options you've got with initiating combat from stealth with a spell or a sound burst or something like that, but I think everything we've got is actually a little more important. Plus mobility is used in some skill checks throughout the game, so that's what we'll go with right now. Okay, so as for feats, we've got some options here. We're actually going to start off with so first real quick, when you make a bard and you want them to be effective, you generally want to I generally think ranged bards are more effective. Taking a bow and taking the ranged feats, point blank shot, precise shot, rapid shot, mini shot. Unfortunately, we don't really have the feats for that. We're not going to get into that right now. Plus, with our Thundercall, we've got a ranged option. So I think we can forgo the bow. And so we'll just pick up weapon finesse. Eventually we'll get arcane strike. But for right now, we're also going to get lingering performance. Now, lingering performance is what makes Thundercall work with Inspire Courage. Basically, the bonuses and penalties from your bardic performance continue for 2 rounds after you cease performing. So what we'll do in combat is we'll start with Inspire Courage, and then we'll start Thundercalling, and even though we will stop performing the Inspire Courage, the effect will persist for another 2 rounds. And so we'll just have to balance, it'll be a little bit of juggling, but you'll Inspire Courage, then Thundercall again, go back to Inspire Courage, and that way you can kind of keep it up and continue dropping these sonic bursts as much as you want. There will be a limit, of course, because you're going to want to be casting spells as well, and you'll want to be you may even just want to be standing there in melee, because we are going to be decent in melee. We'll take eventually Fencing Grace to get our dexterity to damage, and we've got some options there, but we're definitely taking Lingering Performance this level. As for spells, the Bard gets some interesting spells. I like Hideous Laughter. It's a will disable. Basically, you cause the creature to just roll around on the floor laughing, and they can't take any actions. There are a lot of good options here. Sleep is super powerful at low levels. I hate taking it on spontaneous casters, especially in this game, because as of now, it doesn't seem like they give you any options for trading these out later on, where you do have that option in the pen and paper game. So it's such a waste, because once you get higher level, 4 hit dice is nothing, and that's no longer useful. That's also the problem with things like hypnotism and cause fear. Anything with a low hit dice limit will eventually become obsolete. And there's a case to be made that they are extremely useful at low levels, and they're very powerful, and they would make the game easier. So they're not actually a bad investment. I just personally would rather have something that's always going to be useful. So Ear-Piercing Scream is good, but it kind of does the same thing as our Thundercall. Now thematically, it would make sense for us to take it. The other ones I would like to get, Cure Light Wounds would be nice to have, and Expeditious Retreat as well. Since we don't have a Cleric, we've got an Inquisitor. I will take the Cure Light Wounds just so we have an additional healing option. Okay. Now, for some reason, the sorry about the beeps. I'm getting texts right now. For some reason, right now, the voices when you're creating a companion are bugged, but I think I recall liking Pragmatic, and she's going to be matching us in alignment. So I don't think your custom character's alignment actually matters. And since in reference to the creator of this art, we'll just let me spell it right. Just name her Annabelle, which is the name of the lady in the artwork. Okay, so this is our character sheet. Let's see, everything looks good, and we'll go ahead and complete. Now, let's go over here and take a look. Does she start with any equipment? Okay, she does. That's good. So we've got a rapier, which is excellent. Rapiers are one of the weapons that bards are proficient in. They don't get full martial proficiency, but they get a couple good options. Rapier is one of them. So we'll be using that along with the slashing grace and weapon finesse. And we've got a crossbow to use in the meantime. If we end up with the extra feats, which I'm almost positive we won't, we may end up having a bow and getting some extra attacks in there. But for now, a crossbow's fine. So there we go. I think that's going to be it for this video. I plan on getting some gameplay in tomorrow morning, and then hopefully I should have this video uploaded by noon on October 2nd. So look forward to that, and thank you for watching. Thanks for your support. Your comments have actually given me some encouragement to continue with this Let's Play. So yeah, see you guys later.